Hello, and welcome to fuck it. One minute. Better. Hello and for fuck. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Much better. Hello and welcome to my little Halloween video, we might call it, which is basically it's going to be a video of me reacting to bad reviews of some of my favorite horror movies of all time. So yeah, one angry fanboy coming straight up. And I'm just going to be heading into IMDb. I'm going to start up with a review from some movies that I'm not going to get that angry with, and then we're going to scale up, so I'm going to go in full fanboy angry mode when people start talking shit about some of my favorite movies. So I'm gonna start off with a movie I consider a guilty pleasure. I understand if people don't like it, but I really like it. It's The Stuff, and let me just see if I can find it here on IMDb. There we go, The Stuff from 1985. Long ass time ago. It has a 5.9. That was actually more than I expected to have on IMDb. But hey, that is. And what I'm basically gonna get into is reading some user reviews we have down here. And I am gonna show all the 1 stars. I'm gonna kind of hide away spoilers, and then I'm trying. There might be light spoilers for all the movies I'm talking about in this video here, but I'm not 100% sure. But let's just head into the first one. Let's see, a 1 out of 10. Absolutely, positively, without a doubt, the worst movie ever made. Have you watched a lot of movies? You know that there's a lot of shit out there, right? A lot of shit. I always been a movie fan. Wild horses couldn't keep me from the ticket office on Saturdays. I often watched 2 or 3 movies in one visit, so I went to see The Stuff. Why not? Oh, so he's probably watched it back in the time when it was released. I'll tell you why not. The storyline is preposterous, without the good sense to be played for camp. It actually takes itself seriously. I mean, really, white gooey ooze that seeps from the ground, and people can't resist it. No, really. Then when people eat turn into zombies. Had enough? There's more. Once fully zombicized, is that a word? Once fully zombicized, victims puke the stuff down someone else's throat and infect them. That's almost what I did, puke. I couldn't decide which was worse, wasting time staying till the end, wasting my money and walking out, or wasting the theater's resources by making them play this crap all the way through, since I was the only person in the theater. Please, for God's sake, don't see this horror movie. Don't see this horror of a movie. It is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, the worst movie ever made. Again, mate, I don't think you have watched a lot of movies if you think The Stuff is the worst ever made. Again, generally people who gives movies 1 star out of 10. Have they been watching a lot of movies? Because there is so much shit out there. Like, I can think of maybe 5 movies I would give that I think are really bad, but I still give them like 2 or 3. A 1, I don't know really what would go under a 1. It's gotta be really bad. But seriously, The Stuff, it is campy. It's I think it's played for laugh, but when the Chocolate Chip Charlie, I think his character's name, pops out with his kung fu moves and team up with the main character detective. Is that not camp? Is that not camp enough for you? I mean,
you're Chocolate Chip Charlie.
Well, I sure as hell ain't the Kentucky Colonel. Get off of me!
what do you want from this? And the practical effects are fun. I mean, it's not great. The actors are, for the time. Also, the audio mixing is a bit off. It can be quite hard to understand what they're saying, so subtitles on this movie would be preferred. But yeah, mate, I'm sorry that you spent your money that time, but hey, I still really love this movie. Oh, this is a bit conflicting. A must-see 1 out of 10. A must-see, one of the crappiest movies ever made. The story makes no sense, the acting is horrible, the special effects are a disaster, you laugh your lung out. Don't forget to buy some soft ice cream before you see this. It will make you do strange things. Okay, this is fun one. Still 1 out of 10, really? I mean, even a movie that is so bad it's good deserves, like, I don't know, a boost in grading, but well, that's your opinion, man. Yeah, the special effects aren't disaster. I think they're fun. But maybe it's just because I think it's so really funny that I like it so much. I mean, if I had to grade it myself out of 10, I would probably give it like 6.5. That's maybe being a bit generous, but yeah, I don't know. And we have one here. The crappy stuff. Oh my god! This movie is so bad. It's not even bad in a good way, it's just bad in a bad way. The story is lame, some sort of yogurt product makes you addicted, and you end up doing anything to get more. But the yogurt itself grows and kills people. My solution, don't rent this movie, go out and buy some soy products instead. Okay, we have a real soy boy right here. Who is this? Filmer-8. I mean, they are all from... oh no, we have one here that is from 2019, but they're all like in the early 2000s. When was IMDb started? I don't know. But I don't know, dude, that's like, again, just your opinion, man. I mean, why one? It's like, I mean, it's a knockoff of The Blob a little bit. I think, I actually haven't seen The Blob, so I'm not sure if it is a knockoff, but that's just what I've heard. And, I don't know. The next one, this movie was a waste of time to watch. The acting in this movie was horrible to the point where it was unbelievable to enjoy. The director was very lazy in making many cuts in the film that you as the viewer can see the errors. The plot did not make any common sense. The actors could not act their way out of a paper bag, especially that Michael Moriarty character, and this movie made the army look like a big joke in the end. I mean, you're not really supposed to take this movie serious. It's called The Stuff. It has magic or what do you call alien yogurt ice cream thing that invades your body. You're taking this way too serious, mate. This movie is not worth watching or even given a second thought to. The Blob was better than this crap. I mean, it doesn't need to be as good as The Blob. It's just an entertaining movie. It's fun. It's fun. Can you not have you no humor, mate? Okay, maybe I got a little angry in this one. It was not supposed to be that. And yeah, The Stuff, I really love it. I watch it like at least once every year because it's just so fun and campy. It is campy. I don't. There was one who said it wasn't played up for camp, but it is. Trust me, go watch The Stuff. You won't regret it. It is so fun.
How's the food, sweetheart? That's nice.
Where's the stuff?
Alright, next one I'm gonna find is gonna be Dagon from 2001. Inspired by H.P. Lovecraft stories. I think it was inspired by more than just one. But basically it's about this young couple that gets to this town where the peoples are completely like Shadow Innsmouth. They are twisted and grotesque, and they end up getting hunted by the townspeople, and all of crazy shit happen. And it's such. I really love this movie. The only bad thing I can say about it is probably the CGI is very bad. It's so poor, but it is from 2001. But hey, it has a 6.1. That's more than 6.2. That's more than the the Stuff had. So hey, but then again, we are gonna go down and read some of the user reviews. Where are they? They're there. And let's show all the 1-star one. There we go. B-rate flick from Ironheart. Ironheart? To all who wishes to view this movie, I suggest you skip it and get another movie. The acting was bad and very fake. The plot was lousy. The monsters were bad. This one is a bad B-rate flick. The only consolation being that the actors were both very good looking. Well, he has a point about that. They were pretty good looking, but that's not the point. The acting, I don't know. I think it was pretty decent. I mean, the main character probably in the beginning was a bit and some of the townspeople again, they are supposed to be a bit contours or weird looking and doing stuff, and I'm not sure to do that in a believable way, but I still think it really works. Funny or scary? Neither. Sometimes you just wonder how some movies are allowed to be made. Maybe the character of dumbass hero is supposed to be funny, but hell no. I'm a big fan of horror/comic, and almost everything that has to do with blood. So trust me, this one sucked. Thank you. I'm not gonna trust you. You don't know what you're talking about. This is fun. Also, the main character, I mean, in the beginning he was a little too less than the unlikely hero for my taste, but then he's not anymore.
Come on, motherfucker.
I'm not as fast as old man. You want this face? Come and get it!
I mean, I watched this movie. I love this. It's one of the best movies inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Okay, we have a long one here. Holy crap, it's a long one. Okay, let's take this. Drawn out pursuit, corny creatures, clueless cast. Here's why. Seriously, I'm not a cynical moviegoer. You gave this one a 1 out of 10. Dude, when you give something 1 out of 10, and even something that is good as Dagon 1 out of 10, you are more cynical than, I don't know, someone cynical. I couldn't come up with an example. I love to believe my taste is very much accustomed to articulate storytelling, but this is ridiculous. It's nice that a Spanish film came about with a Spanish cast and crew, and maybe this film will be far more of a success in countries other than America. Well, this is Denmark, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I myself do not find it moving when lightning strikes at the end of every poignant. What the fuck is that word? Poignant. Fuck. Line in the film. That's annoying. Unbelievably, relationships and awkward dialogue contributed further to the other lack of credibility the film holds. I was granted a special preview 6 months prior to release. Oh, someone fancy pants has written a review of this. I'm told, and I found it difficult to stay awake for the undirected, I don't know, cat and mouse game that male lead played with these slow-moving human fish people. Maybe I'm just too harsh. Yeah, bro, you're being just a little too harsh right here. But when the film obviously had a comfortable budget and actors willing to give all to their roles, it's bothersome to watch it go to waste in a partially realized depiction. Damn, I shouldn't be reading this. I'm barely speak the language and you're using fancy words. Of an undeveloped plot. Maybe if there was an involving subplot other than the overused device of one man's dream, maybe this film pursued the gross out factor more directly than it did. Entertaining plus believable. It's very nice to see a Spanish produced blah 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 blah. Okay. I think this movie is great. I really do. It one of my favorite things about it is weirdly enough its lack of music. There are very long in-betweens between the music, especially in the most tense scenes there are no music. So, I don't know, music in horror movies can sometimes help the movie, but it can also just completely ruin the moment. And this one, it creeps on you sometimes. And I don't think it's a scary movie, but it has these scenes where the main character is being chased, as the dude just talked about, and there's no music, and you can see just this fish man walking in the background, dragging himself closer to our main character. No music at all, except for the sound effects coming from, and I really love that. Good lack of music. Is that a thing to praise it? I don't know what it is. We have another one right here. Where's Coombs? Who's Coombs? When you need him. I wanted to like this one, especially after Stuart Gordon's Reanimator and From Beyond, both of excellent revamps of HPL, but this is Dagon is overlit, generic, big music. Big music? I was just talking about no music, come on. And overall not very atmospheric. It drips atmosphere. When we walk into the town and we see all the townsfolk, and it drips with atmosphere. You don't know what you're talking about. And 1 out of 10, Plan 9, and a long number. Plan 9, guess you are an Ed Wood fan, perhaps, so I don't know. Instead, this here is a doggy doof better suited as a Friday the 13th victim. You just want this goof to get it, and we sure don't need to see him making out with a hot girlfriend for the first 10. Are you just jealous? Is this the point? Do you think you're hotter than the main guy? I mean, he just has glasses. I mean, when he's not had the glasses on, he's actually a pretty attractive guy, if I can make a comment about that. Maybe you're just a little jealous, and that's that. It's reminiscent of the endless Italian horror cheese of the 1980s, more adolescent, adults, I know the word, but I cannot pronounce it, than adult. A shame. Original HBL, the story literally oozes gloom, the film version just drips. I mean, no, you're wrong, mate. You're just wrong. Again, Dagon is in my opinion, one of the most underrated movies that I watch. I love the special, like the practical effects. Some that are not super great, but I really love it. The CGI is very bad. That's probably my biggest gripe with this movie. The CGI is so bad, and it takes me out every time it's on there, except for like one time near the end. But I'm not gonna spoil that. And yeah, Dagon, it drips atmospheres. It has a very clever use of, or lack of use of music. I don't know how to describe that, but I don't know. The characters are nice. The main character, he is a dog in the beginning, and I don't know why this dude was so angry about that. Again, maybe you're just jealous that you don't have a hot girlfriend and you're a big dog. I don't know. I'm a big dog and I don't have a hot girlfriend. Like, that's now I'm just sad actually. All right, let's find the next movie. There we have it, Dog Soldiers from 2002, a British movie, a British werewolf movie, and it is probably my all-time favorite werewolf movie. It just, and that's this British actor, what's his name again? Sean Pertwee. He's just, I love him in everything he's in. He's just such a great character in everything. And it's about these soldiers that are out on a routine in the forest, and then they run into a woman and some werewolves, and I'm not gonna go more into the story than that. I mean, I love the look of the werewolves in the movie. I just love the whole style of the soldiers locked into a small house and then have to defend themselves against the werewolves. It's such a great movie. And yeah, as I said, one of my all-time favorite werewolf movies. And now I'm gonna see someone, or read out someone who just doesn't like it for some reason. Okay, number one. Let's just hide the one with spoilers. There we go. Cringeworthy. Gay. What's your name? Gay Fire Gin Smacker. That's a username. That's a username someone picked. Okay. If you have more than 2 brain cells to rub together, then heed my advice and stay well clear of this pile of crap. God awful acting, terrible effects. Sean Pertwee lying on the ground and with a string of sausages lying on top of him. Cheesy script and most uninvolving action sequence I ever had the misfortune of seeing. The rare thing is that so many people seem to soak up turkeys like this. Soak up turkeys. That's not an expression I've heard before. But then again, I'm not a gay by a gensmaker, so maybe it's just something, you know. No, dude, you're wrong. I can't say. Sean is perfect in this movie. He's the leader of the, I don't know what he is in military rank, but he's the leader of the squad of soldiers on the training exercise, and he just yells at them, and it's awesome. And the action, I think it's fine. Like for a really small budget movie like this, it's really good. So. And I love the werewolves. I have probably said that before, but dude, so wrong. So wrong. Bloody awful. I watched this BC of flavorful reviews posted. Did I see the same movie? It sucked. Where do you want me to start? The cover says Jaws, Predator, American Werewolf in London. What a ripoff. Do not compare this movie to these classic well-made movies. As for DS, I've never seen such an obvious man in a monster suit with fake werewolf attacking hands. Cheap special effects, weak plot and character development. It reminded me of a low-budget high school student movie production, hoping this movie would get better. I talked on myself by watching it to the end, but if you still want to watch this movie, I want you. I want me 1 hour and 45 minutes back. Student movie. Have you watched any student movies? I mean, that's some that are fine, but seriously. And again, 1 out of 10. I mean, I went into this and picked all the 1 out of 10s, of course, but still, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, it's a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. And that's one of my favorite werewolf movies. It's only a 7, but hey, there are not enough good werewolf movies out there. But sorry, dude. And the monsters in this. What do you want the werewolf to look like? I mean, it's been a long time since I watched the American Werewolf in London, but I don't even think you see the werewolf in that. I think it's just some clever editing and not really showing it off. But I can't remember. Dude, you're wrong. The werewolf looks great, dude. And we have another one here. Don't expect much, but yet you give it 1 out of 10. I mean, some of these reviews they write like it's not like so bad again, but then still give it 1 out of 10 like it's the worst piece of shit ever. I don't know. I sought this movie out because there had been so few good werewolf movies. True. American Werewolf in London, The Wolfman, and maybe The Howling. I was hoping for at least something decent based on some things I've heard about this film, but words can't describe how truly abhorrent this movie is. It's just not bad, it's repulsive. Maybe overdoing a bit there, buddy. The characters are thoroughly unlikable all across the board. The script is completely hackneyed. The performance don't help. The camera work is annoying, and the editing makes this feel like B movie from the 70s. Unfortunately, this also lacks the charm that a good B movie has. Not even worth renting for a good laugh. What a stinker. What? I mean, no, dude. Please, no. I lasted 14 minutes with this one. Awful. 14 minutes. You have not even seen the first werewolf, I think. I think there was maybe a opening with a short showing of the werewolves, but still, 14 minutes. That's barely the beginning, and yet you have the audacity to go in and give it a 1 out of 10 when you don't even watch the full movie. If you don't like it and turn it off, fine. I've done that with like hundreds of movies. Just went out, but I don't go in a wide review if I haven't watched the whole thing. You are being an idiot, in my opinion. I have just noticed the filter button on IMDb where you can choose to look at the negative reviews first. Hey, so did I. That's why I'm making this. I wish I had seen them before watching this rubbish. I managed to suffer 14 minutes of this film. I knew it was going to be awful after 5. What do you expect, man? What high hopes? What is a good movie to you? What is a 10 out of 10? And apparently, if this is 1 out of 1, again, have you watched bad movies, dude? Have you watched bad movies? This does not compare to some bad movies. The best way I can describe those 14 minutes is to get 6 of your mates who have not slept for 3 days, dress up in army gear, and go to a local forest, write a script in 10 minutes after drinking half a bottle of whiskey, and then pretend to be British soldiers on a military exercise, and then try to sell in a movie company. Does that sound like too much trouble? Oh well, watch the film then instead. I promise it's far worse. 14 minutes, dude. You don't have a right to do this. No. Okay, let's see if I can find. There's a lot of bad reviews for this one for some reason. Let's just see. A dog of a movie. This looked bad from the start, but I gave it an hour to show some indication that it might become interesting, scary, intelligent, or humorous. After that, I weighed up my option. I could watch it to the end or go into the kitchen and wash the dishes. Thus, one good thing came out of this movie. I have sparkling clean set of dishes. Okay, that was fun at least. And at least you gave it an hour, but still, mate, watch it to the end. Then write your review. Especially if you're gonna give it a 1 out of 10. Seriously. Have no one watched a bad movie? Have I only watched Master of Disguise? Look, a cow just fell from the sky. Oh yeah, right. There's a scene in the movie like that.
I was surprised. The dog turns around.
Fucking cow!
Thought it was pretty funny. Oh well, let's go to bed and think about it in the morning. Rubbish. Rubbish acting, rubbish effect. Actors you want to slap, not scary. No fault in the storyline whatsoever, not even funny bad, just bad. Doesn't deserve the title B movie. The fact we as a nation can appreciate this movie like this above the whole, for example, proves we don't deserve to have a film industry. Mate, you're taking it too seriously. It's a good movie. Seriously, I mean, This one hurts a little bit more because I really love this one. And why are there so many bad reviews of this one? I guess the first two I had are kind of unknown movies, and this is more popular, so maybe that's just why. But still, Dog Soldier's amazing. I love the action. I love the look of the werewolves. The setting of the forest. I love it. Everything about this movie it is, as I said, probably my favorite werewolf movie of all time, even above American Werewolf in London. So hey, but that's just my opinion, dude. Gotta live with it.
Hit me! Oh, you fucking pussy, hit me!
Next one, Martyrs from 2008. It's a movie I only watched until quite recently. So and it really stuck with me. It was very brutal movie, just very haunting. The actors are doing such a great job, especially the one who the story is about this young girl who, when she was a child, was kidnapped and tortured, and then she escapes, and it's about her revenge story of that. And the actor playing that girl is doing such a great job. I mean, I don't get scared by movies these days, but this one was tense and it had thrilling and it was so brutal. And it's a movie where I might understand if someone was gonna give this a bad review because it is so brutal, and they might not really understand it or something like that. I don't know. One thing I gotta say, it's the ending. Kind of sucked. Without spoiling anything, in the ending you kind of get explained why the girl was tortured for all that time, and it's a little dumb. Not gonna lie, it's a little dumb, but the adventure up to that point, fucking awesome. In a bad way, but in a good way still. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyways, let's look at some bad reviews. Come on. And show all the 1 stars. Disturbing torture with no point. Oh, we gotta hide the one with the spoilers. The only thing worse than torture porn is pretentious torture porn. I mean, I knew this was gonna be it. People were gonna call it torture porn when it's not. It's a haunting tale of a young woman who struggles with inner demons. And then until it is not, and then it's something weird, but I'm not gonna get into that. Really, this film adds nothing valuable. The real philosophical issue could have been presented in less than 10 minutes. The rest of it is nothing but torture porn. This means that torture, suffering, and confusion is the main plot of the film. The only thing in doubt is whether the philosophical issue has been added to pretend like it's a real movie, or if it was added intentionally to try and get away with it. Mate, the thing about torture in movies and why some show it and some do not show it. I think a lot of people don't show it because, and just implied, is because they don't want the label of torture porn. And this one was brave enough to show it and still got labeled torture porn. But it matters. You really get why the girl is doing what she's doing and how she is taunted. It makes sense in this one. Until it doesn't. But again, that's the end that I wasn't really loving. But hey, we have another one here. Tedious, boring, unsympathetic, repulsive. Before I watched Martyrs, I was in an extremely good mood. Excuse me, mate. Did you watch Martyrs and expected to be in a good mood afterwards? You're doing it wrong, mate. You're doing it wrong. I finished Cemetery Man and picked this movie. Praised highly, but I approached it with prejudice, as IMDb reviewers had let me down before. No Country for Old Men, and did it again. You didn't like No Country for Old Men? Well, that explains a lot. This movie had left me disappointed and mad to the point I registered on IMDb just to write this review. Truly, this movie was worthy of its praises. The movie starts off good with average amount of horror, blood and action. It was exciting, and the rescue of a tortured survivor was a nice touch. It was good seeing Anna, the MC character, for the survivor, but things went foobar. The survivor dies, and the second MC... I guess that's a spoiler. Sorry about that. The second MC dies again. Not a did I not hide spoilers? Yes, I did. Do it. Be careful. Oh, fuck me. This is long. I'm probably not going to read everything. You know what happens to MC, but we don't know what tedious this movie get. Yeah. I'm not going to read everything of that because he seems to be spoiling everything. And I don't want to spoil this movie. So, yeah, can say again, he seemed to really like the beginning and really enjoyed it from what I could read. And then there's the end, like I feel was a bit disappointed by the end, and then just gives it a one. Like you cannot think half of a movie is brilliant and then just give it a one. The ending might be bad, at least in my opinion. I didn't. Yes, some people really enjoyed the ending. I think that's for them to consider. I don't really. It's not me. But still, you can love half a movie and give it a one. That's at least like if half the movie is brilliant, then it's like 5 or something. I don't know. Seriously. Oh wait, we have this one called before. Sad. The bad acting. Bad acting. Bad acting. I mean, the side characters. I don't know. I didn't really think about that. I think this was fine. But the main character, this for the beginning of the first movie, the main character, the surviving girl, is doing such a great job. It's really great. She is doing such a great job. You cannot call that bad acting, man. What's your name? Hanoveraran 30 something. I don't know. What kind of name is that, dude? Okay. The bad acting tries to hide behind offending pictures and violence. This production could be a guidance for a pervert person who really likes to hurt others or watch them suffer. A guide? Like, is that like how every movie with violence in it is a guide to every violent act in this world, man? Are you just dumb? The plot is creep and meaningless. Maybe I don't have a clue about thrilling movies. I think that's you hit the nail on the head right there. But in my eye, this is just another sick film for kids who wrote this movie 10. I forget it within 2 weeks and care about acne and coolness again. We have a teen right here. The quality of the camera work, the set, the makeup, and the set is pretty good. Some supporting actors did a nice job as well, but after all, this movie bored me and I am disappointed from the director. You will have more fun watching The Exorcist and 7 again. I actually like this one more than I did 7, to be honest. Even though it's a close call, but hey. And do we have anyone that has like a fun title? We have one here. A veteran horror fan, but this was stomach-wrenching. Yes, I know, that's why it's good. Wait, that sounds wrong. Anyways, I am a great fan of the horror genre, and I have been seen hundreds and hundreds of films, many very bloody, violent and graphic, and this is without a doubt the worst. There was parts I had to skip past. The violence is gratuitous, does not have advanced the plot, and it's so brutal. This is literally impossible to watch if you have any degree of human empathy. If you have watched hundreds and hundreds of horror movies, and this is the worst thing you've seen, you haven't watched a lot of horror movies, dude. At least, I don't know, if you count the 10 movies in Friday the 13th, and how many are there in... No, I think, are there 8 in Friday the 13th? And 7 in... Yeah, you can probably, if you watched all those bland horror movies and the sequels, you're probably gonna end up with a high number like that in your head. I don't know, I'm probably gonna get some hate for calling Friday the 13th bland. But 19 Mill Street is pretty good. Literally Theorist says that you can tell how a writer feels about the types of people in his stories by the fate those characters suffer. If that's true, and I may tell you this, then Mr. Lathier has some serious issue with women that need deep therapy to correct. This is a deeply unpleasant and disturbing movie. That disturbing quality is not a redeeming factor. That is, it doesn't elect questions for the viewer or teach anything intellectually or morally valuable, nor is the catharsis of shedding negative emotion. This is a movie that really did not need to be made. I would avoid it, you have been warned. Don't listen to this guy. I mean, sure, you're a horror fan, and I'm a horror fan, but then again, there are movies that I don't really like the Friday the 13th movies. I think are a little overrated. I think they can be fun, but do you really want to give Marty a 1? Because it was a stomach turning. Was it too bad for you, mate? Do you need a hug and a hot cup of chocolate? I mean, it is brutal. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this to everyone. You have to have some high tolerance for really brutal movies, but mate, I don't know what to tell you. it is, without a doubt, really awesome movie. Except for the ending. Alright. I knew I had to go and find an Evil Dead movie. I wasn't really sure about which one, since I love all the Evil Dead movies. Even the remake, I think, is like one of the best horror movies made in like the last 10 years. But that's just, again, my opinion. It has 7.8. That's pretty good for a horror movie. And we're gonna watch some, read some reviews of this. I picked Evil Dead 2 because it's probably the most popular one with the fan base, and it's also probably the one I watched the second most times. I think I watched Army of Darkness more times than this one, but I really like Evil Dead 2 also. But that's the one I picked. Anyway, Disappointed. Probably one of the worst horror movies I ever sat through. The original wasn't the best either, but it was so much better than this crappy rehash. No suspense, no rewards, just boring gore and not so witty one-liners. The beginning, where the first movie is ignored while bringing us back to the same situation as the first film, was totally stupid. I really did it a 1 because there was no lower option on the scale. That's being a bit brutal, mate. I mean, I really like this is the one where Ash really got his action, and the part with the where they what were you saying again? The beginning of the first movie was ignored and bringing Ash back into the same situation. There was a reason for that, and that's because the makers has lost the right to the original movie, so they couldn't, when they wanted to show a recap of the original movie, since this is a direct sequel of that movie, they couldn't show clips from the original movie, so they had to reshoot it. So it would make sense to someone who was watching it for the first time. And I know that has confused a lot of people. Some feel that this is a remake of the first one because of that, but it's not. It's just simply because the makers had lost the right to the original movies while making the sequel of the same movie franchise. I don't know how that makes sense. I'm not a movie industry guy, but yeah, it confused a lot of people, and apparently it confused you as well. Proud to go against the grain. Good for you, mate. It's not every day that I am able to go totally against the popular majority. I'm all for cheesy B movies, but this pushes the limits. I laughed the whole way through. Not because of the horrible special effects or the wondrous acting, but because I couldn't believe I was spending $3 to watch this. At this point I actually saw the cup of the blood was thrown out of. Cheap is one thing, but this is ridiculous. Mate. Dude. You laughed. Yeah, I mean, if you laugh, even if the movie is so bad that you laugh throughout it, you're still giving it a 1? A 1? Like, you really gotta hate something to give it a 1. And don't start with that whole, oh, I'm giving it a 1 because then we get the total value of the review number down to it's more correct. That's not for you to decide. The collected value of the review, like we saw on this one, was 7.8, I think. That is the score from all these reviews put together to an average, and you don't go and put it 1, and that's the worst excuse I ever heard for giving a movie a 1. You don't give it a 1 just so you can say, oh, it doesn't need to be a 7.8 or whatever. That's not up for you to decide. That's the majority. You give your honest opinion. Some people might give it a 10. You don't give it a 1 just because you want this to have a lower main score. That's not for you to decide. You don't dictate what the movie score should be. Be realistic. Don't be an idiot. And if you want those people who gives 1 and then just use the excuse, oh, I'm doing it because then we get the average score down to something more realistic. That's not how it works, mate. That's not how it works. You gotta give it your honest opinion. That's the only way you can get a real score. Like trying to fix it so it fits your opinion. That's not a good idea. And I came out of track right there. We have one here. Absolute garbage. Evil Dead 2 is possibly the worst movie ever made. Again, mate. Have you watched the movies? Bad acting, a plot that made no sense and had more holes in it than a Swiss cheese. Supposedly a sequel to the first movie, but it starts off with the first one didn't exist. I already went through that. The whole movie is in one incoherent mess. It was billed as being a scary movie, but my friend and I merely laughed at the absurdity of it. All granted, is in most horror movies, characters do stupid things, but in this movie they do things that completely defy logic and reason. I could sort of be forgiving if these actions further the movie in some way, but since there is nothing resembling a plot, all they do is make things even more coherent and stupid. The effects were abysmal, even laughable. It looked like they had spent $5 on the whole movie, and the first one was good, even scary at times. But the same cannot be said of this bomb, only rivaled in the awfulness by the gate. Pure and utterly garbage. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Well, I just have to disagree. The effects were fun. It's a fun movie. It's not like it's changed tonally a lot from the first movie. The first was probably trying to be a lot more scary than it is, and the second one kinda embraced the camp a little bit, and went a little silly at times. And it's a fun horror movie. I would probably suggest it as baby's first horror movie if I could, if there are such a thing as a baby's first horror movie. But Evil Dead 2 is fun. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie, not necessarily scary. I can't really think of a really good scary movie, but it's a fun movie. It's a really fun, great movie, and you're just wrong. I hated it. First, let me say that I'm a huge horror fan, and I loved Evil Dead 1. I just thought this remake/sequel was pathetically lame. It was less serious and a lot more childish and just a lot worse. In my opinion, don't waste your time on this. See the original and be happy. A 1 still? I know that's basically my reaction to everything. But, I mean, sure, I like the first one. It's probably my least favorite in the series, if I'm completely honest. I think the first one and the remake are kind of like in the same scale for me, and then 2 and Army of Darkness are a little higher, and they are kind of competing against each other as well. But I don't know. Do you have any more fun one? Sam Raimi, oh why? I skipped a few lessons with my friends and we decided to rent the movie. We definitely want something ultra gory horror splatter flick, so we picked a Sam Raimi movie, Evil Dead 2, which I remembered having quite a good rating on IMDb. We were prepared for some extremely gory blood orgy, but instead of that we got 85 minutes of boredom. I like B-class splatters like Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and Tales from the Crypt series, but this pile of junk doesn't qualify. Just because a movie has blood in it, you cannot compare it to something like Brain Dead and Bad Taste. Like those are like blood porn and gore porn, if that's the thing. And this was not really. Bad Taste was done with shoestring budget too, but it's full of self-irony and way better special effects. Evil Dead 2 had its moments, an eye flying to the chick's mouth, priceless. but one or two good moments doesn't save a film. The whole time this film isn't quite there. It almost makes you laugh, but you are left disappointed in. 3 out of 10, seriously. If you like splatters, go rent Bad Taste or Brain Dead instead of tormenting yourself with this shit. You say 3 out of 10 here, but up here you pick 1 out of 10. Did you click wrong, mate? And one more. Gonna pick one more. Okay, we have this warning. This is crap. After all the positive response this has, I expected it to kick ass. It does kick ass. Instead, I wasted 1 hour and 20 minutes of my life. All this bullcrap about this movie being funny is just not true. It didn't even make me smile. I would find it more entertaining to be shot in the foot than to see this movie again. I mean, we can arrange that if you want to. Reasons why it sucked. No plot whatsoever. Wrong. Not funny at all. Comedy is a lot of sirens going off right now. I think they're coming to get me. Not funny at all. Comedy is it's different from people, man. You can't just not say it like that. Lame and predictable. 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 You have a fucked up mind if you can watch this for the first time and predict what is going on.
I don't think so.
Corny monsters. Well, yeah, but that's the good part about this. Don't let the rating or decent trailer tempt you to watch this movie. 1 out of 10, it's too high grade for this pile of crap. Mate, it's not predictable. And it's not a pile of crap. It's one of the best horror movies of all time, in my opinion. Man. It's good. It's entertaining. Anyways, I think we have been enough on that one. Let's pick the next one.
Son of a...
The original Suspiria from 1977 is a movie I watched it probably the first time like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and I just fell completely in love with it. It's such a different movie from so many other horror movies, and the use of color, the actors and everything. It's I mean, maybe not the acting itself, but the actors are likable in my opinion, and doing a great job. And some of the effects are really awesome. But just the use of light and color in this movie just enthralls you. It made me so happy and just hypnotized to watch this movie. Maybe that's why I love it so much. But despite me watch it like for the first time, like I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago, it's creeping up there to be one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And yeah, we're gonna see someone who doesn't like it. All right, let's go for 1-star reviews and hide the spoilers, please. Okay, a little too long. I think they're all very long on this one because people feel they have to explain why they didn't like this. Disappointing. I just finished watching this movie for the first time. I must say that I found Suspiria to be nothing but a crashing ball. I don't see what all the fuss is about. The movie itself is very eerie and suspenseful, and yet you give it a 1. And there are some gory murders, but that's about it. I like horror movies which are shocking, and the opening murders were a bit shocking, but I felt that Suspiria had nothing else to offer. There certainly wasn't any excitement like other Argento movies, and such as Phenomena and Demons. During the rest of this movie, I was struggling to stay awake, and I wanted just to turn it off. I knew it wasn't going to get any better. The movie also relies heavily on creepy music. This works because, oh, I forgot to talk about the music. The music is amazing in this movie. What are you talking about? Where was I? The movie also relies heavily on creepy music. This works because you may never forget that music for the rest of your life. However, the music seems to get louder and louder until you lose your concentration on this movie, and it feels like you're watching a music video. Something different this movie offers is the use of colors, which is probably why most of the movie was shot in the dark, to make the colors stand out. I found this to be annoying and hard to watch. I consider Suspiria to be a creepy drama rather than a horror movie. If you like movies which stand out as being different, then you may enjoy this. If you're looking for gore, there's not enough for it to hold your interest. If you're looking for thrills and excitement, look elsewhere, because you won't find it here. I mean, I understand your point with calling it a drama a bit, because it is probably a horror drama. I think most of Argento's movies are a bit on the horror drama thriller side, and you're right on that point. The thing with the music though, and it gets louder, it's kind of like, how to explain it, at least the way I feel it, when you watch the character walk on the hallway and the music just gets louder and louder and louder. It's kind of like, I don't know, it gives you this feel of being chased and going mad in the same time, and just having the music go louder. The Goblin soundtrack is just amazing. I mean, oh, it's beautiful. Now I really want to watch this movie again. Suxperia! How clever. I saw this movie a few minutes ago and it's pure crap, believe me. This is one of the most boring movies I have seen in my whole life. Argento's Demons is a whole lot better than this one. This tagline should be there. Nothing more boring than the last 10 minutes except for the first 90. Again, you're just such a clever boy. Don't rent this movie expecting a masterpiece or even a good film. Rent it if you want something to fall asleep to. The music also gets annoying. It's the same tune played over and over until you just want to yank the tape out. Sorry about that. I kicked it across the room. The color is just plain weird. Not as great as everyone says it is. It's just red and green and the whole time. The end sucks most of all, although I shouldn't have expected more. How this movie got such a great rating, I will never know or understand. My rating is 2 out of 10. Don't check it out. And yet you gave it a 1. Is that... Can they go in and change their review later? Or their score later? I don't know. But mate, you're wrong. The use of color is beautiful. It's brilliant. You don't see... That's why it's so many horror movies just spend all their time in darkness. And it's... This one takes it out. It shows you the light. It shows the color. It's so... really, go watch Suspiria. I mean, it's such an amazing movie. Alright. Walls of Baby Blue has written, imagine the dumbest movie in the world. Now multiply it by 10 and you have the dumbness in Suspiria. Interesting? No. Suspenseful? Hardly. Scary? Try again. Granted, I saw this movie for the first time in 2005. Maybe in 1977 it was a landmark achievement. If that's the case, raise my rating to a 2. Granted, horror isn't my favorite genre, but nevertheless, I found this movie a total waste of time. I mean, there was absolutely nothing redeeming about it. Not the plot, not the set, nor the acting, nor the music, nothing. At the end, I said to myself, I want those 98 minutes of my life back. I spent many 98 minutes on this movie. Many times has I spent 98 minutes on this movie. I'm babbling a lot now. I've been reading a lot, so that's probably also why I'm babbling and reading bad. Sorry about that. But again, people don't like the music. It's one of the trademarks. People don't like the color. It's what makes it so good. This movie was awful. The tagline should read, no, don't... No one are clever in here. They're all using the same joke. The only thing more awful than the first 92 minutes is that there's 12 minutes more. The American student, la 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 la. Like, when you already had that pun or joke in there, you're already completely out of my radar, dude. Horrible music, mediocre acting, stale plot. The acting is a little, to be honest, but I don't know. Okay, some of the most horrible soundtrack music I have ever heard. So poorly done that sometimes the music caparones sound noise, more like, I don't know what that word is, was hurting your ears, and yet you could not hear the dialogue. Literally, the soundtrack often sounded like distant screams mixed with clashing chimes and someone dropping a ton of sheet metal on concrete. Mediocre acting, so much of the dialogue sounded contrived and artificial and was often delivered in either a wooden fashion or an overly melodramatic or hyper-emotionalized manner. Stale plot, I can't say much without giving the whole movie away, since there is not much to the plot at all. Suffice it to say is that it's overused, tried, and unimaginative. It's not unimaginative. The word that I'm trying to say. Come on, man, don't be dumb. I expect the only thing it had going for it at the time, 1977, was a certain shock value to what was then blood and gore, by modern standards pretty lame. The lead female actress was competent, cute, and sympathetic, but that wasn't nearly enough to redeem this. On the whole, don't waste your time. I had no idea why some consider this movie a horror classic. Evil Dead, just to name it one. Evil Dead, just to name one from the same decade, is vastly superior. Like in 1977, there had been like a lot of horror movies out that use a lot more gore in this than this one. That's not the reason, mate. You don't watch Suspiria for the gore. You watch it for the aesthetics, the music. You watch it for the music that you hate for some reason. The aesthetic, the acting, the story, everything, man. That's why you watch it. Damn, I'm getting angry. This was such a good idea. I gotta do this again next year. Okay, I'm gonna need a little thing stronger for my next movie, since it's one of my favorite movies of all times, and maybe I poured up a little too big glass here, but alright, we are doing this. This was the one I feared the most to do. We are reading the bad reviews of John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. Like, this movie is not only probably my favorite horror movie of all time, it also belongs on the list of one of my favorite movies in general of all time. The effects are so cool, so unique, and I mean, some could argue they're a little dated, and I wouldn't fight you too long over that, but to me they're just so cool, and at the time, awesome. I wasn't alive at the time, but I can imagine they were very awesome at the time. The plot, the characters are intelligent characters. Like, it's not like in horror movies where you go, oh, such an idiot running up the stairs and something. Like, everything the characters does in this movie is stuff where I would go like, oh, that seems to make sense in this situation. And it's an intelligent, good movie with awesome effects and really good acting. And it's also the movie I probably watched the most time in my whole life, so cannot recommend this enough. But now I'm gonna get myself angry and read some bad reviews. Oh Lord. Blah. An ultimately bland, dull and pointless exercise. As slow-moving as The Big Chill, John Carpenter's version of Campbell's classic Who Goes There is more faithful to the monster, but ultimately as thrilling as a term paper. How many term papers have you read, man? Like, are you a teacher? Can I get your job? Because if they are all that good, then I want to correct them or do whatever teachers does to them. Sorry about that. While the Howard Hawks film rewrote the monster into a simple marauding through intelligent being, at least the film built a sense of menace and hurtling momentum to its story. And this one doesn't. Seriously, man, what was I saying? Yeah, the original one, I have watched that. I think it's a really good movie from the 50s. It doesn't hold a candle to John Carpenter's movie. What were you saying again? At least the film built a sense of menace. Does this one not build any menace? Are you high? Or a hurtling momentum to this story. Carpenter's version is slow, talky, dull, and punctuated only by the over-the-top silliness that shows his purely obsession with gore puppets. Gore puppets? Is that what you're calling it? Gore puppets? The paranoia of the people who may not be who they seem plays much better in Invasion of the Body Snatchers or Planet of the Vampires, or even in Campbell's own story. No. What? The version is simply so slow. I haven't read the story, so I'm not quite sure. The version is simply so slow, the characters so stilted, the story so jumpy and plotting that the final act of the film is a relief, not an experience. No, mate, you're wrong. You're wrong. The monster is menacing. The paranoia of who is infected is amazing in this movie. Even like at times where you think, when you watch a movie like this with what's his name, Kurt Russell in it, and you think, oh, he's not going to be infected. There are times when you don't see him on the screen, and there are times where the others are convinced that he is the one who is infected. And it makes so much sense that you even doubted yourself the first time you watched it, despite him being clearly the main character. And I don't know. I think you're wrong, dude. Really wrong. The Thing. This is the worst movie I've ever seen. Oh, come on, mate. This cannot be the worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, if this is the worst movie you've ever seen, then you have only watched one movie, which arguably means this is also the best movie ever made. So there you go, minus time, minus gives plus. I spent 3 years in high school math, and this was how my math teacher told me how that made sense. Minus times minus gives plus. And I think, what was my point? Moving on. A bloody mess at too grossed out for its own good. So I just rented this movie. I'm only 22, not being on the internet hearing so much about this horror movie. The Thing, I knew that despite me hating bloody gory movies. Why would you watch this one if you don't like bloody gory movies? I was eventually gonna have to see it. Well, this is my take. Sure, it was creepy and pretty disturbing effects, and the tension and paranoia feeling is okay, although done better in other sci-fi films like Body Snatcher. But let's face it, this movie was... Oh, fuck, this is a long one. This movie was and is a cult movie. No way this was ever going to be a mainstream film, and today movies like this are old and gross, seem to be very popular in today's goth punk culture of death. Anyone noticed? No wonder it's such a highly underserved rating on IMDb. Older movies from the 70s, 80s that are known to be gross and twisted with these supremely gross special effects are actually more popular now than they were back there. I think this is just a stupid trend that shows the perverted times we were living in. I don't want to read the rest of his review. I mean, I feel like he's an idiot. Again, he said it's even... I can understand if someone doesn't like a movie. But if you, as I can see here, the paranoia is alright, the gore is fine. His words, not mine. And yet he gives it a 1. He gives it a 1. Movies like The Thing, Army of Darkness, don't even get me started on Army of Darkness, bro. Don't you start on that. Don't get me mad. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, etc. Just look at all the new remakes. Are all more popular now than they were back in the day. I mean, yeah, The Thing was actually got very bad reviews when it was first released. People felt it was too slow. The characters was talking too much, which is one of my favorite points about it, because you get to know the characters, you get to love the characters. Oh, not love, that's maybe a little, maybe I said that a bit. Maybe a Freudian slip. Anyways, you build a relation with the characters when you see them. You get a sense of them. You get to like them. And people are dumb. People were dumb back when it was released, and people are still dumb in 2019. And no great example of this are the more popular now. Wait, I'm reading this, but no great example of this than The Thing. I think it's just really a lame trend that needs to go away and fast. This movie was one time new and nothing more. Certainly not something you can watch 20 plus times unless you're a sick freak. Dude, I watched this like... There was a period of my life when I would get home from school, if there was nothing to watch in TV, I would watch this. And I think I watched this like somewhere between 30 and 40 times in my life. So yes, one sick freak right here, boys. Something. Seeing people's heads getting torn apart and see poor innocent dogs getting brutally attacked by some idiot monster. Guess there isn't eternity life out there, huh? Just this is my idea of a good time at the movies. IMO are meant to make you feel good or anything. Have the good guy win in the end. But movies like this are dumb and depressing. I don't... does the movie ending make you sad? Oh, poor boy. Movies are meant to make you feel happy. They can make you feel sad at the end. Movies just there to make you happy. Grow up. How old were you? 22 in 2019. So yeah, like in your 30s now or something like that. Older. I don't need a real life fear in movies unless I know... Was it also too scary for your friend? Unless I know the good guy's gonna kill the evil thing. I just think movies like this are too gross for their own good. I mean, you didn't see movies like this in the 1950s or even the 60s that much. Pretty scary when you think that you can get away with making disturbing movies like this. and they're even worse today, thanks to movies like this, The Thing, and even Alien. This is a complete idiot. This is fascinating. I mean, fascinating how dumb you can be. Will never give them the time of the day. I'm not a fan of ultra sci-fi because most of sci-fi trends to be creepy, gross, and depressing, with always a questioning to things. I don't like that. It reminds me too much of real life, but there are some alien movies I really do enjoy. Like no, Independence Day. Don't say you like that. Don't even use Independence. Don't. Oh. When you're writing a review of The Thing and give it a 1 out of 10, and then talk about Independence Day as a better movie, there's something really fucked up inside your head, mate. Don't. Could God not just come down? I don't believe in God, but if he does exist, could he just not come down and just do that to you? Okay, maybe that's a little too cruel. We are all allowed to have different opinions. If you don't like The Thing, it's fine. Maybe I'm just being a little bitter and tipsy. Okay, he enjoyed Independence Day, Star Wars movies, Predator, which although it has some blood, is certainly not over the top gross like some of these others. Wasn't in Predator the one where some guy got skinned? Apparently that's fine enough. It's certainly not over the top gross like some of these others, but overall not a big sci-fi fan, and The Thing is just too gross for anyone. I'm only the most depraved of people would actually enjoy this kind of movie, along with The Evil Dead and other films like it. Okay, this is just an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot, mate. You are an idiot. Juvenile B movie, very slow and talky. Acting is bad. You know, acting is bad when actors stand around every time someone says something and they stare at each other. The whole film relies solely on the few scenes with the transformation of the alien creature, which are too gross to be scary. Why would an alien too gross to be scary? How does that make sense? Why would an alien travel to Earth just to be buried under ice for 100,000 years and turn into grotesque monsters that are good for nothing? Additionally to being badly made, this movie is meaningless. It stays under ice because it thinks it can freeze itself down all these years, so hoping that its species will come and get it someday. That is why. It probably doesn't know it has been under ice for 100,000 years. I don't know, that's a fanfic, I don't know, that's not really what I want to get into, but again, you're just a bloody idiot. The Thing. This is the worst movie I have ever seen, as Kurt Russell did in the movie. This film should be burned. The 50s version was much better. No. And the ending was terrible. I had never seen this before, and now I'm sorry I did. This is a case of bad filmmaking. If you're thinking of watching this movie, do not waste your time. I mean, sure, if you are someone who really enjoys old movies and enjoy the 50s, from the 50s, was it 55 it came out? Can't remember. Fine, you can like the original more than this one. You can even like the book version more than this one. It's fine. But don't give it a 1 out of 10, mate. If this gotta mean you have only watched 2 movies in your life. One was the original from 55 and the other was the remake from 1982. And yet you gave this one a higher score than this one. That is fair enough, but you cannot give this one a 1. Maybe I should put this away for a minute. No. I mean, it could be fun to see your review of the prequel to this one, because that is not a great one. Incredibly revolting film. I've only seen one other film that affected me as badly and as permanently. Pasolini's Salo. I've not watched that one, but I heard it should be pretty creepy, so kudos. There the film was revolting for a reason. Here it's just revolting, badly written and badly acted. Nothing but pure shock and gore and the most repulsive special effects I've ever seen. No story, stupid characters, and patently ridiculous. Partly ridiculous, I think it's supposed to be there, I don't know. I cannot speak the language, so I shouldn't comment on people's spelling. There are ways to be frightened, but this is about as entertaining as mutilating yourself. I swore when I saw this back at its release that if John Carpenter had been in the lobby of the theater, I would have punched him for making me feel so thoroughly disgusted. Punched John Carpenter. Dude, I know I was kidding around a little earlier about God's hand pitching someone out from, but dude, that sounds a little more serious than what I was doing, even though. Maybe you should just take a chill pill and just be like, okay, that movie wasn't for me. I can see other people enjoy this movie. Fair enough, it wasn't for me. And then just move on. But no, you felt like punching John Carpenter, that sweet old man who seems like just your old bitter grandfather. I don't know. I wish he was my grandfather. He's just awesome. Punched him. That still holds true. Whatever else good he may have done, I have never been able to have any respect for Carpenter after seeing this. He has talent beyond doubt, but this film also shows that he has a heart of pure schlock. I don't want to read more. I don't want to read more. I'm feeling bad now. Seriously. How can we live in a world where people will give The Thing a 1 out of 10? I mean, sure, I can understand why someone would give The Stuff 1 out of 10. Maybe I cannot. Maybe, no, I cannot understand why someone gives The Stuff 1 out of 10. But seriously, John Carpenter's The Thing, 1 out of 10. That is so annoying. And now I'm mad and I'm sweating a little bit because I'm mad. I don't know how to end this video. So yeah, this was the Halloween video for this year. My angry reaction to reviews, bad reviews of some of my favorite movies. What did it get me? Angry? Bit tipsy? What else? Nothing else. Just sad and disappointed that I live in a world where people will give The Thing 1 out of 10, where people give Suspiria 1 out of 10, Dog Soldier, Matthias. How do you say that? I'm an idiot. Bad at the language, idiot. So hey, fuck it. I'm gonna grab my drinks, go to bed. It's getting a bit late in Denmark, and see you next year, perhaps, for next Halloween video. I'm gonna do more videos before that. I'm babbling right now. If you've been sticking through the bad English and this drunk bastard, then you are a real hero. Thanks for watching and happy Halloween!